there's a couple of different ways to connect endpoints. If you have an opening and a curve. So here I have two different curves. I guess we can also draw just two lines here. So in the first example, what we're going to go over is blend curve. So this is a command that we went over last semester a little bit. So it's going to ask to select curve to blend. Then it's going to ask a couple of questions up here, but we're not going to really get into those. So if we click both ends there, you can see that if we just do position, so position 1 and 2, that's going to give us just a straight line that goes between the end of one of our curves and the end of the second curve. So what we're going to look at here is if we look at tangency. So tangency will take the tangent line, so you can see basically what this dotted line is, the tangent line at the end at number 2 and the tangent line at the end at number 1, and curvature is going to do something very, very similar. So if you're doing something like a circle or a curved line, you're not going to want to use position, because that's going to basically just give you a straight line, whereas tangency and curvature are going to be much more accurate. We're not going to get into what G3 and G4 are. And then if you choose join here, that will yield basically a closed curve at the end of the operation. We're going to undo that. So another option is called close curve. And we're going to go up here and look at what that does. So close curve is going to automatically add a straight line, and there's no way to change the way that it adds that line. So the important thing there is if you want to do close curve, it can really only have one gap in it. So if we do close curve on this, what we're going to see is that it's actually going to close each one of those curves individually. So we're going to want to make sure that we only have one opening in the curve when we're doing this. Another way is going to be if we just highlight one curve, we can take the endpoint and we can just drag it and snap. I wouldn't recommend doing this unless you have a really, really small curve, because what you can see is that it's going to end up changing the direction of this line. The last one that we can look at is going to be an extend. So if we do an extend, we look at our type, natural, line, arc, or smooth. Natural is what we're going to do here. So that will take the type of object that it is, so in this case an arc, and it will extend it in an arc. So let's click there, and it'll actually extend along that arced path, and that'll actually end up closing it up. So this will still be two different curves until we join it together, and then that'll actually close that off. So those are a couple of different methods for how you would go about closing curves.